second to wait for some people to pop in, and I'll check if the audio is all good, and then we'll get started. First of all, let me just see if it's live on my phone and everything. See if it's all streaming correctly. Let's see. Yes, I am. Sweet. Alright, everything's going good. Let's see. Okay then, so for the sake of saving time, I've already made a character. I didn't want to go through the hassle of dealing with all the sliders and all that stuff on stream, because frankly it takes way too long and it's kind of annoying. But I have a decent looking character right here. The build that I'm going to go for is I'm going to be going Dexterity Faith. Just seems like a fun way to play through the game. I'm kind of just doing this as like a laid back type thing, first stream and all, so yeah, I have my character all made. I think it's a good way to start. While I'm waiting on some feedback for like audio type things, I'm just gonna let the intro rock, and I'll probably do suicide runs to start the game off with.
The world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire. And with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten.
Okay, I see I have some viewers popping in. This is just gonna be a chill Dark Souls stream. I'm not trying to do any crazy speedrunning shit or any of that. Just kinda having fun with it.
Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone scales. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more.
Yes, it is, Brian. What's up? How's it going? If you have anything to say about the audio, that would actually be really helpful, because I'm trying to feel things out and see if like the voice and game audio are balanced correctly. If anything seems off to you, just point it out, please.
And only dark will remain.
Also, wait, you call it Souls of Darkness 2? No, this is Dark Souls 1, dog.
Even now,
people hate Dark Souls 2. I don't get why. Dark Souls 2 is like really good, but everybody hates it for no reason, I feel. It's like less polished than this game, but it's honestly not bad at all. Hey, what's up, Andres? How's it going? Game audio is tad loud? Okay, I can adjust that real quick. Like in comparison to my voice, I assume. Alright, let me give that a little adjustment. Just gonna turn that down like a decibel or two. Sorry if that made an annoying cut noise whenever I alt-tabbed out, but it kind of does that. I'll set it at like -2 decibels, something like that. Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Dead.
Okay, tell me if that's sounding any better. Okay, sweet. I think that adjustment helped.
The undead are corralled
From software game, too hard, game bad, couldn't be boss. You see, there are people who actually think that. That's the crazy part. Mostly they're game journalists, but I know you're a game journalist in your downtime, but it's really not that bad, I swear. Now, I'm not the greatest at this game, but I know enough about it to make it look stupidly easy, so we'll see how that goes. Just, I don't know. I know my way around the block, but I'm not a speedrunner, so. Okay, so since audio is good, I guess I'm ready to start the playthrough. My character's gonna look like fucking beef jerky to begin with, which, you know, is kind of to be expected from these games. Oh, cool. Dead body. And the homie Knight, helping out as always. I see you, Andre of Astoria. Actually, no, Andre's somebody else. Fuck, I really do not remember the names of these characters. There are a billion of Astoras in this game. All the names kind of blend together. I think it works. Do you mean my stream, or I don't know what you're getting at? Yeah, I think everything's all set. I don't know if I should even bother trying to kill these guys. They don't really give me much, but just to show off what the combat's like. It's very, very slow and methodical. You have to take your time with every little swing. You have a stamina meter up top in the left. Shows you how many actions you can take before you need to back off a little bit, so you can't just button mash. I would read through all those tutorials if I was doing like an educational let's play, but I'm not. This is just kind of me chilling, so. Let's see. We got this encounter coming up. Oh, the sound levels. Okay, that's good to hear. I was a little concerned that that wouldn't work too great, but I'm glad we got it all sorted out pretty early on. So thank you very much for your feedback. I think we should be all set. Cool. Now, this is one of my favorite things in this game. This like fake out right in the beginning. If you just run in here, like, without any concerns, this dude up here that I'm panning towards will just jump down and destroy you, but it's really funny that if you know what you're doing, you can just run to the door that they intend you to leave from and just completely ignore that entire fight. It's like, if you know even slightly what you're doing, you can trivialize a lot of things in this game. It's very funny to me. This guy is gonna shoot at us. He wants us to grab a shield. Very, very subtle game design here. They want you to pick up the shield so you can advance down the hallway. They want you to pick up the weapons so you can actually kill this guy. It very much eases you into getting all your tools that you start with. Yeah, let me just fuck this guy up if I can't miss. There we go. You think a potato PC could run this game? Honestly, this game is like 2011, 2012. If you have a potato PC, it could probably do a decent job at running it. It wouldn't be the greatest, but you'd probably just have to run it on like low quality and everything. I think if you can run League, you can probably run this game just fine. In high school, one of my friends ran Dark Souls 2 on his laptop, and it worked just fine. So, if you have something better than like an average laptop, you're probably fine to run it.
Regrettably,
I'm just gonna be skipping a lot of dialogue, so I'm sorry if you want to get immersed. I'm just kind of breezing through things. Actually, let me open this door down here first. Like potatoes. Yeah, potatoes are quite good. They're a hallmark, little staple of every single dish, just about. If you're Russian, anyways. They have vodka and all that. Potatoes they're pretty multi-purposed. A very multifaceted vegetable. Okay. Oh god. Wow. Okay, this is kind of rough. the mace has like a really weird attack like set for hitting around corners like that, so I'm gonna be wanting to swap this out pretty quickly. Since this build is gonna be like faster weapons, I'm not gonna stick with the mace for too long, but it's really good for early game. If you start with this class, the early game is pretty trivialized. It's like very not hard, just because your weapon does so much damage and it's so easy to use. You can just kind of smack things around and you're pretty safe most of the time. Let me equip. Did I pick that up? No, I didn't. I completely forgot my my thing I was supposed to pick up that lets me heal. Or that lets this class in particular heal. You can heal anyways as everything else, but now I'm able to do my healing spells, and I'll make this game even easier than it's probably supposed to be. Okay, now back to the guy that was supposed to ambush us earlier. I can do a ton of damage to him and just start beating him up. Oh, okay. I usually start the game with a different class, so I'm not used to his weapons speed very much. I feel like I could have gotten an attack off safer without getting hit if I used a different weapon, but it's no big deal. Especially considering that I have 5 extra heals that I wouldn't have regardless, so... Because normally your heals, they're these little replenishable things that fill up at checkpoints, but with this class that I started with, you get these healing spells, which give you even more healing, which is very useful in a game like this. Let me just grab all the secret little items here. None of them are terribly useful, but it's always nice to have them early game. Okay, and we're gonna get taken away by a bird. Yep. And I'm just gonna let the cutscenes rock, so the VOD will be more complete. It's not me skipping everything. I'll be skipping like random character dialogue, but I won't skip actual cutscenes. But I will probably talk over them like a dickhead, because I'm sure everybody's seen them by now. If you want a really comprehensive like let's play of this game, I recommend like Epic Name Bro. That stuff is pretty good, but this is very much not that.
To the land of the ancient lords.
Yep, to the land of the ancient lords.
Lordran.
The most inspired name ever, Lordran. That's my favorite. It's super original. It like sounds cool, which is fine, but the fact that it's literally just Lord with Ran at the end of it is pretty amazing. It's weird because they have super inspired location names. Like there's a city later on that's called Anor Londo, which is, it sounds amazing, but then you just have like this name, Lordran, which is kind of it reminds me of the Death Stranding names that people make fun of. Like the main character you play as, his name is like Sam Bridges or something, and the whole idea is that you make bridges. And there's a guy named Die Hard Man later in the game, which is very Kojima. I love it. Lord Man. that reminds me of that reminds me of like He-Man or Captain Planet. That sounds like something they would name one of those types of characters. But yeah, the naming in this game is mostly good, but then you have a little outlier like Lordran, which is kind of a wacky name. Let's see. Before I get right into the meat of this game, I'm gonna do a bunch of these. There's a bunch of items you can get that are kind of hidden around this little hub area that are pretty useful to grab early on. I'm not gonna go, you could go like super hard and do like suicide runs to all these really dangerous places to get a bunch of like good items to start with, but I don't really see the need to do that since I kind of already picked the easy mode class. So I'm just gonna grab what I need, which is, there are a few things down here, down this little elevator. And there are a few things in this graveyard down there that I want, like a spear. I think that's going to be the main weapon I'll use. I'm going to use a spear and a straight sword for most of the game. So that should be pretty nice. It's funny because if you don't start with this class, you get like basically all the equipment this class has, but worse. So you get like a shitty version of the spellcasting thing I have, and you get a shitty version of this little mace that I have. Well, they're not like, they have like slightly different purposes. I don't think there are definitely weapons in this game that are bad, but every weapon, even if it's like lower on the numbers side of things, it'll probably have some sort of different purpose that makes it worth using, be it like moveset or some other property. However, in this case, the mace is pretty much superior, so That's like if you want to start going in the direction that this class is going, but you didn't start with it, which is pretty... That's something that you might want to do. Let's see. These guys will absolutely destroy me if they hit me, so I'm just kind of running through here on a little Hail Mary run, trying to pick up as many items as I can. I'm pretty good at dodging through this area. I think most people are, but let's see. Got this Vihander. That's like the super insane strength weapon. If you want to have a big sword and just like one-shot things, that's the weapon you use. Oh god. Okay, I'm better at dodging through that than I thought I was. I actually thought I was going to get hit there. Okay, we got the spear that I was talking about. So I'm pretty much all set for the stuff I can get from this area. I'm just going to have a bunch of skeletons chasing me back to the bonfire, which they're pretty slow and easy to dodge, so I'm not too worried. Unless I do something stupid like that. Oh my god, that's funny. One of them fell off a cliff, so I got all the experience from them dying. You can do a lot of weird little gimmicky stuff like that. You can push things off the environment and get like early kills that you don't deserve, which I might actually run down and do something like that. There's this one like little mini boss guy you can fight, but you can just kick him off a cliff and get all his stuff. So it's very fun. For a Japanese game, some of the aesthetics feel UK/US game design inspired. Well, mostly because it's this game is heavily inspired by the manga, anime, etc. series Berserk, which is a Japanese interpretation of very Western themes. Like it's straight up like medieval dark fantasy is what Berserk is, and this is heavily inspired by it, like to a T in some cases. Like it's ridiculous the amount of inspiration that this series took from Berserk. There's so much just everywhere if you know what you're looking for. Especially the first game. I feel like the first game wears its Berserk influence the most on its sleeve. And honestly, this series is what got me into Berserk in the first place, and I'm very thankful for that because Berserk is amazing on its own. And also having the crossover with Dark Souls stuff is very cool. So yeah, that's the reason it looks very Western, is because it's inspired by a Japanese by a Japanese thing that's inspired by a Western thing. So lots of cultural mixing for this series on its own. Let's see, what else am I looking for? I can get a rapier to start with. That's pretty useful. Oh yeah, there's a couple more things I can get in here. This is getting more into like the if you wander too far, you're absolutely going to get bodied, which this is like an end game area, what we're looking at right here. I have this master key, which you can start with, that lets you get into all these areas very early, which is as broken as it sounds. The proportion of sounds is on point, but I make both you and the game louder. Let's see. I could turn my gain up a little bit, and then I'd have to raise the game volume back up again, but people were saying the game was too loud, so I'm not sure. Let's see. I'll turn the gain up a little bit, and maybe I'll do a slight adjustment to the game volume. Hopefully that'll make a slight difference. Okay. Raised the gain a little bit. Let me Alt-Tab out and crank up the game volume by like half a decibel or something. Okay. Maybe a full decibel. Okay, we'll see how that sounds. I raised up the gain. I made it so the volume on the game is a little bit louder. I can do it in-game even if that would help, but this is about as loud as I can make the mic right now, so how's this sounding? I'm not going to be able to look at the chat real quick because this is the part where if I misstep, I'm totally going to die, so I want to avoid that. Especially considering I have more souls than I thought I did. I actually didn't spend them at the checkpoint like I should have, but whatever. I'm taking risks this playthrough. Actually, oh god, no, please, 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 no. Please, no, please, no. Okay, thank you. That doesn't kill me. Let me just roll out of this bad situation that I put myself in. I haven't got caught by that in a while. That's like a hard move to get hit by, unless you're very low level and can't even swing back at these things. Yeah, let me just, let me get to a safe spot so I can actually read chat and see what the audio is like. Okay, somebody says good, but not the person who raised the original complaint, so let's see. Okay, Sam, how do you feel about this? Is the game audio and voice audio all good? Yeah, I'm thinking this is mostly good, just slight adjustments, I'd imagine. Okay, I'm gonna do one more suicide run. Well, not even a suicide run, because I'm pretty confident I can do this without dying, but I've been confident about things before and had it backfire, so we'll see what happens. Let me heal up a little bit before I do this. Well, I don't even know why I bothered healing up, because whatever is in here is gonna one-shot me if it hits me anyways. Okay. Okay, slightly lower the mic. Gonna do that. And I'll make the game a little bit louder. You caught me right before I ran into the dragon, so caught me at a good time. The boss fight and potato talk. Yeah, that's probably how this is gonna go. It's gonna be a lot of shit talk and a lot of me just trivializing bosses. So, what do we got? Okay, this thing. If I started with a different class, I could kill this thing right now. However, I'm not in a position to do that, so I am just going to take what I can, and I'm going to get the hell out. Oh my god, never mind. Okay. First death on stream. I did not dodge at the proper time. Well, let me give that another shot. Okay, gonna try to get my souls back, because I need those to level. That's like 2,000. It becomes not a lot very early in the game, but for now, that is a lot. So I need to go back and get it without dying again. Because the way that the soul system works in this game, it's actually very cool. Because if you die, it doesn't immediately punish you. You have to go back to where you died and get it back. So you have to prove that you like learned from your mistake in order to get all your stuff back. Or if you die to the same thing again, basically, or if you die on the way, then you lose it permanently. So it's all about learning from your mistakes in order to keep everything you have. Okay then, so let's see if I can get all those back without dying again. I'm very much not playing the game how you're intended to at the moment. Well, this is how you're intended to if you know what you're doing, but you can do a lot of very dumb things like this early game and just get a bunch of good items, which I'm totally doing. Let's see. Okay, so he's not going to have an animation where he like awakens again. He's going to be actively hostile because I already triggered him. So my goal is just to run in there, get my shit back, and hopefully get out without getting smacked, because oh boy did I get smacked last time. Let me put on a shield that's halfway decent. Hopefully no, I still have a bad roll. Nope. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. We have fire breath. Oh god. Not even fire breath, that's like poison. Okay, I managed to get out. I was very lucky he didn't do a swiping attack. He did the dumb poison breath vomit thing that he's doing right now, which is fortunate. Okay, so let's go deeper into the place with all the things that can kill me and see what sort of early game bullshit I can get. I think there's a bunch of souls in this little cave right here, which is useful. Let me just get past this guy. Oh god, not like this. Okay, well the good thing is my souls are in an easier place to get. As not easy as this looks, it's easier than being by the dragon, because there's a safe way to get past the dragon, which is like the little cliff that I ran on right by him. So even though I'm dying, it's actually a net positive, because I'm getting closer to the items that I want. I promise I won't do this too long before I start actually progressing, but there are some things I really wanted to get. And I'm very close to actually getting them, so just humor me for a little bit longer. Triggered. Yeah, the dragon did in fact get triggered, believe it or not. I meant that in a completely objective sense, like a game trigger, as I'm sure you probably know. But yeah, the good thing about this, the interesting thing about this game rather, I wouldn't really call it a good thing, is that almost, even if you die and lose a bunch of progress, every single thing you do is permanent. So basically, if you run in and get an item, you have it. If you run somewhere, activate something, it stays activated. Like, it's really good for like rushing to shortcuts, so you can have access to shortcuts pretty early. So a lot of very useful things you can do using that system. The fact that everything is like auto-saving and is permanent means that you're not really restricted to progress the way the game intends you to. So you can exploit it quite a bit. Yeah, you're welcome to make any trigger jokes you like, I don't really care. Okay. I'm still kind of fat rolling, so I'm gonna take off a few things so I can roll faster. Yeah. See that animation? That animation is that, it's that good shit. Whenever you have this animation, you know that you have a bunch of iframes, you're a lot faster. It's very, very useful for getting through things. However, if you had that animation that I was just having with my roll, that means that you're a lot slower and you'll get hit by more things. Which is exactly what I'm trying to avoid, especially in situations like these where I'm dealing with things that will almost guaranteed one-shot me. Okay, I see my souls all the way over there. I just have to like strafe past this guy, grab them. I don't even need to go into the cave, thankfully, because that's how you get cornered and shot down by lightning, which is really annoying, so. Okay. Thankfully with the shield being, oh god, no. I almost got ragdolled off a cliff. That would have been really embarrassing. Okay, so we're all set right here. Let me just get one little heal in before I try to rush this bridge. Actually, I guess I want to. I was weighing my options of whether or not I actually wanted to do this, but there's a cool set of armor here, which is kind of nice, and I want it. If I can run past these three, I'll be all set. Let me just get on the ladder, please, 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 please. Okay, yes, I made it. I'm in the clear. And you can see these guys just going ballistic, absolutely apeshit right behind me. And I dodged them all pretty effectively. Now, they're all going to cluster at the base of that ladder because their tracking and patterns are very weird, so it's going to look very goofy, them just forming this ugly little mass right here. But now I have this ring, and I have some cool stuff going. Let me teleport back to the bonfire using this little item right here, and I'm set. Maybe the audio will need some more adjusting for the future, but I just go with the rest of this as you were. It might just be more getting used to the microphone. I think this is better. Okay, cool. I'll just run with it. Hopefully these audio settings are good. Everybody else seems to appreciate it. You're more audio-minded, which is fine, and that's actually very helpful, but I think most people will be satisfied with this as it is. I'll just tweak it as I go. Maybe adjust it if need be. If anybody else points out that something is off, I can definitely tweak it pretty reliably. And tweaking it during stream isn't really too hard either. All I have to do is like alt-tab out and just adjust a few settings, so I should be good going forward. Let me see. I want to level up dexterity because that's going to be my main stat for my weapons and dealing most of my damage. Hopefully that means I can actually use a dexterity weapon now. I'm not able to use the wing spear just yet. Can I use the S-stock? Nope, not just yet. Okay, so let me just pop a few of these items that I got. These give you a certain amount of souls if you pick them up. So they're basically just like little item drops, but they give you a bunch of XP if you activate them. But the cool thing about the XP in this game, souls, is that they also act as your currency. So you can like weigh your options between leveling up and getting stats or buying items. So having it all as one resource is actually a very interesting choice, I feel. I think it makes them much more valuable. Let's see. I'll bump that up to 16. Okay, and I think I'm good on my stats for now. I don't need to pump any more levels for a while. let me just, there's one more thing I wanted to grab before I was through doing all these dumb suicide runs like I was doing. There's this one shield that you get a little bit after that dragon area that I was in, and I want to grab that. And then I should be good on equipment for a fair bit of time. We just call this elevator, check chat while I'm at it. Okay. So for a first stream, this is going pretty smoothly so far. Got all my audio stuff sorted out. Almost ready to start the game properly. I gave myself all this time doing all this, like doing all these errands in game to get all these items, just so I sort of had time to adjust settings and not while I'm doing anything really important. So that's very useful that I gave myself all that padding time. Let's see, one more run and then I am done. It's very easy to get greedy early game and want to grab like everything you can feasibly grab, which I've definitely done before, and it makes the game immensely easier if you do this type of stuff. But I only really need a few things in order for the build that I have planned out to work. So yeah, just need to grab like 2 or 3 more items and then I'm set. Oh yeah, also on my way to get the shield, there's a little mini boss that I'm gonna be cheesing. I'm gonna try to kick him off a cliff, which I think is hilarious that you even have the option to do that. It's like if you know what you're doing, you can use the environment to cheese a lot of things in this game. So I'm going to do exactly that. Now that I'm not stopping to grab any items, these guys become a lot easier to dodge. You don't have to worry about, well, you have to worry about that still. The hurt boxes and hit boxes in this game can be a little wonky sometimes, especially whenever they have big-ass wings to their side, which can push you. Which can be a little bit frustrating, especially whenever you're right next to cliffs, but for the most part, it's pretty manageable. Okay, we got one more thing to do. I'm not gonna light this bonfire. I'm gonna save that for later, because having a checkpoint here is significantly worse than having my checkpoint being all the way at the beginning of the game, because I could potentially get stuck here, and that would be annoying. This is the guy I'm gonna cheese, but I need to lure him out into a better area in order to do that. So, let me just... Follow me. These guys are really persistent. Not a lot of enemies will follow you this far, but these Black Knight enemies will really chase you down until they found you. Yeah, see, like I'm out of the range of like most other enemies, but these guys they'll just keep on coming. Okay, so the goal here is to backstab him off this cliff right here. I really could, at this point, just backstab him a bunch and have him die, which I might actually do. That kind of sounds more funny than kicking him off, because I have 0 damage at this point, so just being able to beat him as I'm supposed to is kind of funny on its own. And the cool thing about backstabbing in this game is that it gives you so much time after you're done with it, so you can just heal and do whatever you want, pretty much, after you knock him down. Now these are guys that are intended to be some sort of challenge for whenever you reach this point, but you can really just do this type of stuff and you're pretty much set. Like it is disgusting how exploitable these guys are. This is actually the crux of the speedrunning strategy. What you're supposed to do is you make a like beeline to this area. You're supposed to kill this guy, not as slowly as I did, obviously, but your goal is to get the weapon that he drops, and then once you have that weapon, you build your entire strategy around using it, which is really cool. It's I've never done it myself. I'm not really a speedrunner in nature, but I've definitely used the route before. And the Black Knight Halberd, which is the weapon that he drops, is super cool, but it requires a lot of stats to use it, so you have to optimize your build entirely around using it, which I've never really done before, or felt the need to. Because with a certain setup, it just kind of radiates damage and just kills bosses in like 3 shots. which is as stupid as it sounds. Like the speedrun for this game, despite how hard it's, you know, intended to be, ends up being like an hour, maybe sub an hour. I don't know how low it's gotten recently, but it's not a very long time to speedrun this game, all things considered. Because as much as I love this game, it is very broken and rough around the edges in certain ways that you can just kind of make it your bitch if you know what you're doing. Now then, you see, this is the time where I say that I'll make it my bitch if I know what I'm doing, but then I'm totally gonna get hit by something stupid here and die, which is absolutely my prediction. Hopefully I can make it through without getting smoked. Okay, cool. He decided to do the stupid slow move. I'm alive. See, his swipe, the little claw slash that he did to kill me the first time, is so much better than that little poison breath attack because it gives you so little time to react. But the poison, it takes forever to spread across the floor, so you have all the time in the world to get out of his range. So yeah, knowing the patterns is very useful for getting out and dodging them, especially whenever they're able to one-shot you like that guy is. Okay, so that will be my last suicide run. Not even really a suicide run because I didn't die, but suicide run because I was accepting of the fact that death could happen, as weird as that sounds. Okay, we're gonna hit the checkpoint, level up a little bit. I'm gonna be able to use all my weapons, which is very nice. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of poking with this build. I have rapiers and spears, so I'm gonna be keeping my distance. Gonna be going for a lot of little pokes at all these guys. You'll see how it plays out against actual enemies that are my level instead of like bosses that are way out of my range that I'm cheesing by backstabbing them. So I'll show you how the actual combat of this game is supposed to be looking. Let me see. I'll crank my endurance a little bit because having more stamina means I can have more things equipped, which is very nice. Okay, still got my light roll. Let me see. Oh, I don't have enough strength to use this one-handed, so I'm a hold off on using the spear until a little bit later. But let me see. Oh yeah, I should probably make myself not look like a raisin beef jerky person. So I'm gonna pop a humanity, go to this, reverse hollowing, and I'm going to look like I did on my character creation screen. Yeah, now I don't look hideous. Dark Souls models are still a little bit atrocious, no matter what you do, but the fact that I don't look like a literal fucking beef jerky is a step up, for sure. Let me see, got a few more things I can... Nah, I can't put those on yet without fat rolling. Okay, I think I should be just about set. Oh yeah, I had one more soul item that I could use. Maybe that'll give me another level. Let me check. Yes it does. That's very useful. Let me pop that up to 12. Maybe now I can wear my gloves. I doubt it, but... Oh, never mind, I can. Never mind, I can't. If you put on equipment and like you're in the middle of an animation as it's loading that you have the equipment on, you can get the wrong kind of roll for the equip load that you have. So you can get a light roll while being completely over encumbered if you time it correctly. It's just a weird little bug that this game has. Yeah, a lot of this game it's very much not like you rush in and attack things. It's like you wait for them to whiff or do something stupid and then you hit them. It's very much like pattern recognition and getting an opening. Or anticipation like that. Like I clicked the button to do that attack like 3 years before he started lunging at me. So it's all about having that timing, and then once you have that down, you can kind of just fight anything. I would grab that item, but the guy up there is throwing bombs at me, so I gotta kill him first. Let me kill this guy too. Let me parry. He was too high up. If you get a parry, you can get this little follow-up attack, which lets you do just an absolute enormous amount of damage. But if you're like not level with them, you don't get to proc it, so they just kind of stand there. How would you feel if they put a Dark Souls character in Tekken? It's all Namco. See, I've heard people say that they want a Dark Souls character for Smash, but I feel like Tekken would actually suit this game a lot more. The way that the moves are and the fact that it's in a 3D space, I feel like it would fit Tekken's engine a whole lot more than it would something like Smash. So I would honestly be all for having a Dark Souls character in a Tekken game. I feel like that'd be sick. And that would probably be my reason to get into Tekken, if I could play it like it's Dark Souls. Because they set it up with characters like Akuma and Eliza. They made it so that you can just play it like you're playing a 2D fighter. So if they applied that same sort of principle where you can play a Dark Souls character like you're playing Dark Souls, or even something close to it, like you can play a Dark Souls character in that game with, like you're playing Soul Calibur, that would be very interesting. And they've made weapons characters work before in Tekken, I think. Doesn't Noctis have like a sword, or am I misremembering? Oh no. So yeah, this is the area that you're intended to go through first, which without any of the preparation that I did beforehand, I could still do this pretty reliably. But the fact that I have all these extra weapons and levels and stuff makes this all very, very easy. Which is again part of the fact that this game it's very difficult on like your first playthrough if you don't know everything. Like if you know the game in and out, it becomes incredibly trivial. Namco loves their shit. I was reading chat. That was a bad idea. Okay, now I can read chat. Well, yeah, I know Soul Calibur is all about the weapons, but I was asking about Noctis and Tekken. I was saying that a Dark Souls character in Tekken would be closer to a Soul Calibur character, so you'd be playing him like he's a Soul Calibur character, which I think would be very cool. Okay, cool, so Noctis does have a sword. I thought he did. So yeah, I guess he'd be close to that, though hopefully not as ridiculous, because I hear people bitch about Noctis all the time. I don't even know what a tier list of Tekken looks like. Every time I've tried to look into it, everybody just says, oh, it's perfectly balanced, and then they don't list how strong a character is, which I'm not sure how true that is because I have very little Tekken experience, but I'll take their word for it, I guess. If the game is really that well balanced, then good on it, but I hear that said about Guilty Gear a lot, but Guilty Gear very clearly has tiers, or it at least has matchups. People say Guilty Gear is like this super well-balanced game, which it is for the most part, but there are definitely characters that are higher than others. But people just won't bother making tier lists for that game, which I think is a little bit silly, because characters like Chip exist, who's obviously a top tier. It's very weird that people have that sort of mentality where they just don't bother ranking anything. But Tekken 2 and 3 are very... Oh, there. I guess I mostly meant Tekken 7, but... 2 and 3. Yeah, I could see the older games in that series being very unbalanced. A lot of old fighting games are just kind of broken, honestly. Like, even the ones that I like I love Third Strike, for instance, but that game, if you see the top tiers kind of running their game plan, it's a little broken. Like, if you've ever seen Yun get a Ganejin combo, he just does like insane amounts of damage and gets another one for doing that. It's a little silly. Now, this I knew that I would eventually end up talking about fighting games, but this did not take very long. 3 was a popular game in the day, but the meta is some of the worst I've ever seen. Devil Jin and Dragonov are supposed to be the best. Okay. Okay, so people do have a conception of what the top tiers are. That's good, because every time I hear people talk about Tekken, they talk about it in very balanced senses. Like Tekken 7 is supposed to be like one of the more balanced fighting games out there, which I do believe. I do believe that it is that balanced. But yeah, sometimes people have an unrealistic conception of how tiers work. Tekken 3 has a horrible meta. Let's see. What's it like defined by? Because I think there's some games with like really broken, unbalanced metas that are still fun in spite of that. I don't know if Tekken is one of those, because like Third Strike is broken at a high level, but it's still an amazing game regardless. However, there's some games that are just not like fun at a high level. Like Smash 4 I think is an amazing example, because that game is amazing on a casual level. Like I enjoy Smash 4 a fair bit, but if you get to a high level, it's just literally Bayonetta 0 to deathing everybody, which is just not fun to play. So if it's something like that, yeah, I understand. I think that metas get really horrible whenever they're just over-centralized. Like if it's like 1 or 2 characters being played. Or if it's 1 or 2 characters being played and those characters like aren't fun. I think Melee is a good example of a game that's similar to that, where it's very few characters being played. But the thing is, with a character like Fox, who's very strong and is insane on his own, every character, just because of how much he's played, every character has like all this counterplay to him. Every character is able to like combo him to death, because it's just like, because Fox is very easy to combo, for instance. So him being a top tier isn't like super bad for the meta, despite the fact that it's very limiting. So it really kind of depends. There's some games where metas like that can be bad, but it's hard to say. I'm not sure exactly how Tekken 3 is, so I'll take your word for it that it's horrible. Let's see. Oh, okay, that sounds like one of those just almost incomplete type of games. That reminds me of how you've described the Sailor Moon fighting game, where I think it's one character who's just stupid small and like ducks under everything. That game just like wasn't designed to be competitive, and I don't know how recently Tekken got into actually taking its like esports scene seriously. Because I feel like Tekken had more of a reputation as being like not a party game per se, but more of like a casual fighter for a long while. I don't know how seriously people took it even back then, but I know that like for a while it's been taken seriously, or at least the devs have been taking it seriously. But I guess during the time of 2 and 3, it was probably very difficult to like release a balance patch for things like that. Because I know Street Fighter for the longest time, in place of balance patches, they just release new versions of games, which is why you have like 17 different variations of Street Fighter 2, because they're all attempting to balance the game. I don't know if the Tekken directors were even like in that headspace at the time, or if they just like didn't care and just made the game and let it be. Which is mostly the game not being changed or updated any is how you end up with games that are kind of hideously broken. That's how we ended up with Melee, because it hasn't been touched in years. Since 5, it's been very competitive. Okay. 5 through 7 in Tekken Tag Tournament. Okay. Yeah, I know those ones were designed to be competitive, but I wasn't sure about like early on in the series. Because a lot of the time, it feels like at the start of a fighting game series, it's very rarely made with the intent of being a completely competitive game. At least like during the time period where all the fighting games really had their inception. Because I know like Street Fighter was made with the intention of just being like two dickheads in an arcade hitting each other, and them making money off of it. But then whenever people started taking it more seriously, they started doing patches and stuff. I imagine something similar happened with Tekken. What do I even want to level up? I'll level up my strength, actually. Okay, I'm gonna actually move on instead of just farming these guys a bunch, which I totally could, but I'm not going to. I don't know what that guy was jumping at. Sometimes enemies, whenever they have tracking on you, they will just do crazy things. They'll attack you from like a mile away for no reason. Uh, 5 was the first one to be online, so that was kind of a big deal. Yeah, that makes sense. Usually whenever they go into the online era, that's whenever they have more people, or even the console, like more console stuff. Whenever it's online and a console, that's whenever you have people like bitching about things. And whenever things are being complained about, that's whenever they actually start making changes and bothering with balance. So I assume it was a process somewhat like that. Because Tekken 5 was like, what, Xbox 360, PS3 era, right? Oh wow, that guy went a lot faster than I anticipated. Oh no. Okay, so we got these guys who are throwing all that shit at us whenever you're trying to cross the bridge. You can kind of just run up on them, and they're not a threat at all. I'm amazed both of those hit him, because both of my strikes got clipped by this pole right here, but the hitbox still went through and hit him. I love how janky this game can be sometimes. It makes everything really fun. Like, a lot of things about this game are very, very loose and gamey. Like the fact that all the enemies have like these crazy ragdoll physics, so whenever you run around them, they just get flung everywhere. There's a lot of weird shit like that in this game that make it very fun, I feel. Everything being very loose makes it feel very satisfying to control. And I don't mean loose in like the sense that the controls aren't tight, that's not what I mean, but I mean like the game itself, the way it runs is kind of loose. Wow, this is a really bad angle. Having the high ground is not always useful in this game, especially whenever you have something that attacks straight forward. If I had like an axe that had like a striking down motion, that's really good for this situation, but rapier I can just kind of only thrust, so I'm a little bit limited. That's why, more so than just a weapon being stronger than another weapon, having a useful moveset is very, very helpful, because you can hit things in situations where you wouldn't be able to hit them otherwise. So your hitboxes are a lot more important than your actual damage in this game. Though damage is very helpful. It's just, this game is a lot about having good utility. Wow, you're just gonna heal right in front of me? That's disrespectful. Let's see. Oh, 5 is a PS2 game. Okay, that's... Wait, did PS2 have online? I mean, the Dreamcast had online, so PS2 had to have had the online in some capacity, right? Okay, so it started in arcades, then PS2, 360, PS3. Okay, so I got a bunch of ports, I guess, from the arcade release. That's how a lot of fighting games go. This is another one of those guys, like the one that I killed earlier. I'm just gonna lure this guy out into a better area, and I'm gonna fight him the same exact way that I fought the other guy, which is to say bullshit. You're intended to fight these guys significantly later, but it's always fun to kill them early and see if you get any cool items from them. And they give you a bunch of XP, so very useful. If I really wanted to flex, I could parry this guy. I think I might. If I get hit like an idiot, then you can crucify me all you want, but... Hey, I still got it. Come on. Come on, hit me. The timing for parries is a lot looser than you would expect. So it's really not too terribly hard once you have the hang of it. Come on, hit me. Oh, okay, so that's how Mad Catz got its start. Mad Catz making fight sticks is like the funniest thing to me, because they're regarded to be super high quality, but everything else that Mad Catz does is like terrible. Well, not terrible, but it's like third-party GameStop controller feel type stuff. So the fact that they actually made a super big impact in the fight stick like industry, and the TE2 is still in place as being like a good fight stick. It's crazy that Mad Catz actually like got their act together and made something good, despite having the stigma of making like cheap crap. I'm very impressed with them. It's a shame they don't really make anything anymore, because I would very much like to have something in their style, because the TE2, which is a really cool fight stick, it's like really customizable, which is very nice. And I would like to have one, but they run kind of expensive now because they're out of production, so you have to get them used. PS2 didn't have online. Handful of servers. Okay, so it was closer to like Dreamcast and like that era of online, because it felt like things only really started being online whenever we got to 360, because you had Xbox Live, you had all the party chat features, all that. Yeah, it was like that era where online became an actual decent thing on consoles. It was kind of a gimmick for a while until it actually became a viable thing. Okay, we got another boss coming up. This guy is probably gonna melt about as easily as the first guy did, because I'm prepared for it. I have this little item which lets me put electricity on my weapon, which will let me do just an absurd amount of damage to him. So let me do that. Let me trigger him. He's gonna pop down. Yeah. That was supposed to have a much louder sound. Okay, there's the music. I feel like if I was actually facing him, I would have got the noise, but there was like no noise from that, so it looked like there was no impact whenever he jumped down. That's really funny. Okay, gonna drop down on him the same way, do a bunch of damage, and I'm gonna poke him. Gonna poke him a lot. Oh god. This is a very bad position, actually. Actually, never mind. And I'm good. I only got hit once. That's good. Mad Catz transformed overnight. Yeah, it really did. It had this awful reputation until it decided to finally make a quality product for once in its existence, and then promptly went out of business whenever it stopped being in demand, I guess. I really hope they come back and do more Fight Stick stuff, because honestly, I like their stuff quite a bit. Though there's no guarantees that it would go back to being the same level of quality that it was whenever they had that little wave there. Ooh, this is a very good little piece of scenery. This is the character that everybody loves for some reason. I think he's okay, but you talk to him and he's like the one person in this world who's your homie. He's like actually nice, which is very rare in this universe, because this universe is also based around Berserk in terms of tone. Everything just wants to kill everything, so finding this one guy who's like actually chill is very surprising. They went bankrupt in 2017, reincorporated. Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah, I know they went bankrupt, but they're supposedly coming back, and there were a lot of rumors that they were finally gonna do something, but that never really happened. Okay, only got scraped by that fire right there, so I got in just fine. Okay, I got a nice little shortcut right here. And my favorite thing about this game's design is the fact that everything loops back into everything, so no matter where you are, you almost always have a little shortcut to get you back to some other area that you were in before. So it gives you a lot of ability to travel travel like long distances technically by just going through like little elevators or ladders here and there. And the map is super dense, so like everything that may seem like it's really far away in terms of like how long it took you to get there will be like right on top of other things. All their old shit is impounded, it's never coming back. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got. I wasn't really expecting anything from them coming back. It's a shame, but it's kind of to be expected from Mad Catz. They've never been the greatest in terms of business decisions. I just wish we had some quality fight sticks again, but honestly, I'm happy with the companies that are running things now. We got like Quamba, we got there's Quamba, there's what's the other one? Hori is the other one. Those are like the two main ones. Then you have like Mayflash, which is kind of filling the role of Mad Catz almost. They make sort of cheaper fight sticks that are still good quality. Oh no. Wow, This has happened a lot, where I'm right next to my goal, and I just end up falling down on fire. But everything is alright. Okay, so we're making pretty good progress so far. I'm very close to the first big boss of the game. Which, I say that with massive air quotes because he's not very important, nor is he very hard. So, I'm pretty set. I'm gonna grab these few items that are laying down right here. Oh, I'm surprised that didn't kill. Wow, I'm extra surprised that didn't kill. Come on. The most annoying thing about fighting these spear guys is that the easiest way to beat them is parrying them, but you have to wait forever for them to throw out an attack because they're so defensive. They just stay in their shield the whole time. I'm gonna kindle this. Basically, there's a mechanic in this game called humanity, which you get it by you either get it as drops or just randomly, but it lets you go human so you don't look like beef jerky. And it lets you light these fires even brighter, which gives you more healing items whenever you go to your checkpoint. So as long as you have a bunch of humanity, you will have a bunch of healing items, essentially. So it's a nice little reward system. Okay, I'm gonna do this the unconventional way, where I run past everything and close the gate on them, which I think is very fun. But it's entirely possible that I will be trapped in there with the boar. So that could be pretty bad. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully I get lucky. Come on, boar. Please don't make it in. Hey, I'm good. Okay, so I'm gonna deal with that area later. I'm gonna do it from the back. The way you're intended to do that is like you're supposed to run through it from the front, but if you do it from the back, you can do things a little bit differently. This is a little shortcut that doesn't even require the item that I started with, the master key, which lets you get into a bunch of stuff. So this is something you can do regardless of if you started with the dumb broken item. That's funny that I can even attack them through this. They could probably attack me through it. But I don't even think that's working as intended because these aren't. This hitbox isn't that in depth that these holes are actually coded to be holes. It's that somehow if I space it right, my sword just goes through the wall and still hits them. So there's a lot of dumb little interactions like that. Okay. Now these guys are carrying a weapon that I really, really want, but it's a rare drop. So I'm hoping I get lucky and get it. Nope. This is one of the times I may actually farm because it's a weapon that I want to go through the game with. It's one of the best weapons, one of the best like swords that you can get. So I think I'll probably go for it. Oh no. I'm gonna lure this guy out to a better place to fight him because fighting him in those close corridors is really annoying whenever he has a rapier like that. Yeah, if I lure him out here, it's a lot easier to circle around him and stab him in the back. Nope. Oh no. Oh, damn it. I thought I tried to do the kick, but with rapiers you have like a weird kick animation. That guy, what he was doing right there, let me break that down. What he was doing is he was trying to parry. He does like this dumb thing with his sword where he holds it out and makes it like really easy to hit him. But you do that, you attack, you get parried, and you get punished. But I was trying to go for a kick, which is something you have like this, where you do forward and attack, and you do a little kick, and that's not parryable. However, certain weapons, like rapiers and scimitars, they have this alternate kick animation where they kind of do like a little backstep attack. So I did that on accident, and I got parried. I was lucky he didn't attack me after that, because I probably could have died. Wow, I'm bad at parrying these guys. An interesting thing about this game is that while the enemies' numbers get higher, like they have more defense, more health, more damage, etc. as the game goes on, their attack patterns also become more difficult, so parrying them becomes less of a cinch than it would be against other enemies. Okay, so I'm gonna go around. I'll get to this area later, but I'm gonna loop around, get one of the checkpoints that's off to the side. and then that should be a good place to do things from. Come on, please. I'm really hoping I get that sword without having to grind for it super hard. Come on. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with these spear guys. They take forever to attack you. Neat, it adjusts. Oh. Let's see. Come on. Okay, that guy wasn't too bad. What do you mean adjusts? I'm curious what you mean. Wow, I'm doing a painfully small amount of damage to this guy. With these rapiers, you kind of just have to get like backstabs and like parries. Otherwise, you don't do a lot of damage with them. You kind of just get these little itty bitty pokes, which don't do a much damage. So, oh, the difficulty, the AI. Yeah, the game it scales in terms of difficulty for sure. This game is very well paced if you play it correctly. If you don't do a bunch of like weird sequence breaking shit like I was in the beginning. I feel like they hit you with challenges at like the exact right times. Just enough so that it still kind of catches you off guard, but not enough to just completely destroy you. Wow, that guy just tracked me forever. I didn't know he had that much wind up. Otherwise, I probably would not have gone for that. Wow. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna try to lure out that big guy we were seeing from a distance a little while ago. Hopefully there's a mage up there, so I'm hoping he doesn't get buffed. Because I kind of activated the mage whenever I walked under him. So, yeah, this guy looks, he's normal. He's not buffed or anything, so I should be able to deal with him just fine. I'm gonna be doing no kinds of damage to him, though. Wow, that is not doing a lot at all. It's because for heavier armor, it's like the opposite of what you would think it would be. You would think that like little pokes would be decent against heavy armor because they'd like go for the weaknesses in the armor. But like poke damage, the way damage is calculated in this game, it goes by like the type of motion you're hitting them with. So thrust attacks do very little against heavy armor. Whereas like if I was using a mace or something, that's what I would be using for fighting against heavy armor. The game is very in-depth in those terms. It can be in-depth in like dumb ways, where like rapiers will do very little against heavy armor, but besides that, there's definitely a lot of interesting mechanics at play. Like if you just take a look at this like stats screen, there are a billion different stats going on right here. Not a lot of them are super important, but it's nice to know that they exist. Everything in this game can kind of function in the background, which is very nice. You don't have to focus too hard on numbers and all that. Which is a shortcoming of a lot of RPGs where you have to worry about that kind of stuff way too much. Like, I tried getting into MMOs a little bit, and I tried playing World of Warcraft, and Jesus Christ, it is just numbers all over the place. Thankfully, with this game, it's more about, like, fighting style, and, like, it's about spacing and your moveset, all that, which is much more close to my heart. I find action RPGs to be a lot more engaging than regular RPGs, personally. Let's see. I have enough for a few more levels. Maybe not a few, maybe just one. But I'll up my health a little bit. I do have these items which I can pop, which will give me some more XP to work with. I don't think it'll give me enough for anything important. Yeah, I doubt it will, but... Okay, I'm gonna use one humanity so I can start getting 10 Estus flasks out of this bonfire. I keep on clicking reverse hollowing. That's what I do to make myself human, but I'm already human, so I don't need to do that. Numbers like that bad TV show. I'm out of the loop as to what you're talking about, but believe me, I'm not a fan of most TV, so I'll take your word that there is a bad TV show out there called Numbers. I believe you 100%. Okay, I think I'm just about ready to take on this little area before the boss, and then beat the boss. Oh yeah, I got that set of armor earlier. I didn't even bother trying it out. I was just kind of using my default equipment. Let me switch out in a sec after I'm done with this guy. The good thing about rapiers is that you can just kind of poke things to death. It takes up very little stamina, so you can do like a ton of thrusts in general and not really have to worry. They just do very little damage, but they kind of combo together nicely. Brigand trousers. Yeah, okay, that's way better. I'm still getting light rolls out of that. Let me see if I can hold this spear and... Nope, that's not gonna work. Yeah, I'll stick with this weapon that I've been using. Oh yeah, there's a blacksmith down there, so I think I'll try to upgrade the damage, so I'm not doing like 20 on hits, which is pretty bad. There's a TV show on CBS called Numbers. It was like CSI. Oh god. A math whiz solved crimes using numbers. That sounds like something that would just happen in CSI on its own. That doesn't even need to be like its own show. That could just be like CSI like Oxford or something dumb. It could be like some college student who just uses math to solve a bunch of crimes. Is he like really cheesy? Is he like a Poindexter type character who solves crimes with math? Because that sounds hilarious. Contrived dumb. Yeah. Honestly, most shows are, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's up there. Okay, I can only get +1 on this weapon at the moment, at least based on the items I have. I could buy a few more and get some more damage, but this isn't a weapon I plan on sticking with for very long, just for the time being. So I'm just gonna use what I can on it. I'm gonna do one more run of the surrounding area, actually, before I get to the boss. Hoping I can get that sword that I was talking about that's very, very useful for early game, and not even just for early game, for the entire game, so... To people who are unfamiliar with this game, it probably just looks like I'm doing the same thing over and over again, but I swear I have a purpose. Ooh, a longsword. That's actually... that's not quite the weapon I would be wanting to use. Actually, wait, I'm stupid. Why am I not using this sword? This sword is very, very useful. I forgot that I had this early. There we go. That's significantly better. This thing, it requires faith, which is the stat that is my healing is based on. So this class is like perfect for this weapon. I don't know why I wasn't using it to begin with. I kind of just got caught up in using the rapier. So now that I have this, I'm probably gonna be completely set for this fight. Wow, that does a fair amount of damage. Let me fight a few things around this general area. Wait, what? Reaction? Do you mean like the ones who like react to like music and like YouTube videos, that type of stuff? To be a promoted art, $150 just for promotion. That's wow. That's most of those people are not worth that at all. They're like a handful of actual good reaction channels out there. Most of the time, people just don't say anything while they're watching them, and then it's terrible. That's significantly more common than an actual entertaining, engaging reaction channel. Which, like, that kind of sounds like an oxymoron, entertaining and engaging for a reaction channel, but there are some that exist. However, I don't think any of them are really worth $150. Okay, I got some more upgrade materials, which is useful, but not quite what I'm looking for at the moment. Okay then, we have a couple more guys in here I can mess up. 2 more chances at getting that that sword that I really wanted. I hope I actually get lucky, but who knows. My luck is very up in the air a lot of the times. Nope, no drop. Hopefully I can parry this guy, that's my plan. Yeah. Those guys are kind of hard to parry because they have such quick startup on their moves, but it's not too bad. Still nothing. Let me grab this, actually, and head back. Oh my god, no, no, no. I forgot that he hits you from behind like that. I should be safe. Yeah, I'm safe. Now, I'm going to take yet another shortcut and go back to the place I started. Funny how the game works like that. This, I feel like, is one of the better examples of the level design that I was praising. Because you get all the way up there to that big cathedral after going through all that, and then bam, you take one elevator and you're back down here to where you remember. So it makes getting checkpoints and shortcuts feel very, very rewarding because you can just go back to your your safe spaces, so to speak. No Shia LaBeouf. I'm sorry, what? I think you got about as close as a normal person can be expected to get to spelling Shia LaBeouf's name correctly, so I won't deduct any points for that. I think with how off the handle Shia LaBeouf is at this point, I don't even think he can spell his own name, so I don't think you're in any hot water about that. Let me get a few things from this guy. I kind of just ignored talking to this guy earlier, but I'm already in the same covenant as this guy, I think. I don't know why I had to do that. Is any of this worth getting? Heal is most definitely worth getting. I'll take a second one of those any day of the week.
Come again.
Says that in a lot of his movies, rapid fire. Oh, okay. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf is pretty steady on some dumb shit. The only movie I remember Shia LaBeouf being in that I liked, I think, was Holes, which is... it's kind of just a kid's movie at the time, because it was a kid's book, but I feel like he did that adaptation some justice. That's like my only substantial memory of Shia LaBeouf, is that he was in that movie. And that he just completely went crazy after a certain point. He's a very odd individual, as most people in Hollywood tend to end up being. It's hard to be in that industry and not be a fucking goofball, just absolute weirdo. It's very difficult to be normal, I guess. Which I think is why people gravitate to somebody like Keanu Reeves. Like, Keanu Reeves is very popular, and I think it's because he's kind of just normal. They kept selling out showings. I didn't know it was that popular. I saw like reruns of it on like Disney Channel. I didn't know it got that much fame. But yeah, I read the book afterwards, and I think the only thing the movie didn't do justice is the character's appearance, because Stanley Yelnats is supposed to be like fat, but Shia LaBeouf is like the skinniest, most like lanky motherfucker you can imagine. At least in that state of his life, he was very much a little skinny kid, which is not what the book described in the slightest. Yeah, I think most people are at least vaguely aware of the insane things that Shia LaBeouf has done, so. Should have been fat. Yeah, yeah. That's honestly, like, that's the biggest complaint I hear about the Holes movie, is that Shia LaBeouf wasn't fat, which I think is hilarious. Because that's not something that you would ever be criticized for in, like, any other context. I don't think there would ever be a situation where it's like, you need to be fatter, is the... is something that actually is expected of you. But in that case, it probably would have been better if it was closer to the book, but... Since I saw the movie first, I pictured the character as skinny, which... I don't know. I'm normally a book purist on most things, but Holes is like the odd exception. They reverse fat shamed. Yeah. Well, actually no. They fat shamed completely in order because they're like, we can't have this character being fat and have them be likable, so they made him skinny. They fat washed him instead of whitewashing. Or skinny washing, it would be in that case, I think. I'm not sure. That's not really a term that exists, I feel. Actually, no, it probably does, but... You ever read the sequel? Oh, yeah. I don't think I finished it, but I know the one you're talking about. It's like Baby Steps or something like that. It's like where one of the other kids, like, they go through, like, his fucked up life, like, outside of the camp. Which... I don't know how that prompt got by. They basically just... the whole prompt of Holes is that they're children being sent to, like, a concentration camp where they're forced to do manual labor. Which, like... they... Never at any point do they mention that that's, like, weird. Right? That's just, like, considered a norm. That's just, like, a disciplinary thing in that universe. Which is presumably our universe. The universe where we have children digging holes in the desert for, like... their life just because they committed a few crimes. Small step. Was it small steps? I feel like it was baby steps, but I could be totally wrong. My memory of it is very misplaced. I read it in like elementary school, so I don't have a very good recollection of it. So yeah, I remember that one being very grounded. I got into like his family life and all that, which I think was pretty interesting, especially because it was kind of dark at the time. Because I read it whenever I was like a 4th or 5th grader, and hearing about how like fucked up his family was pretty interesting. Honestly, yeah, that author was quite good. They made some. Well, I say that the author is quite good, even though I've only read 2 of their works, but I was impressed by what I read. For like children's books, they were pretty good. They got to some pretty decent like real world issues. Honestly, that's something that I completely forget about until Shia LaBeouf is brought into a conversation. I like forget about Holes existing. But every time I look back on it fondly. Okay, I'm not trying to get smoked by this guy. I'm just gonna let him send his little horde at me, and I just slash him up a bunch. Come on. Oh, this asshole. He's standing in the way of all his zombies, so he's making it the situation where I have to run into him and attack him. But if I do that, whenever I attack him, I get attacked by everything else behind him, or he attacks me. So my goal here is to wait him out, and hopefully these guys will stop being in collision with him, and they can run out and I can kill them first. But this is a bit of a weird situation to be in. I may just... Fine, I'll take the bait. I'll run in and attack him. That went surprisingly smoothly. Okay, I let loose the floodgates that guy was creating. This is what I was talking about earlier with like the jank. This game can be very weird and like very broken at times because dumb things like that are always able to happen. And this is a great example of what I was talking about with movesets being more important. Because they put you in these narrow hallways where it's hard to hit things with certain weapons. So having the right weapon for a situation is very beneficial. I hope I get this guy's trident. That would be a fun drop. It's one that I almost never get. And yeah, I didn't get it. But having that trident, it gives you like this weird special attack where you can do a little dance. It's very funny that it exists, but it's such a rare drop that you're probably not gonna get it most of the time. There's a point later in the game where you can get one, but it's also very hard to get. So I kind of never expect to get it, but it's always kind of a letdown whenever I don't, you know? Okay, there's a couple things I can do here. First of all, I'll grab this item. And second of all, I'll let this guy out of prison. And then promptly kill him once he goes back to my checkpoint. Because this guy is a traitor. He will eventually try to kill one of the other NPCs that's in your little hub. So this guy, you rescue him and then he's a real piece of shit. But you can kill him early and get really useful items. So I'm going to do exactly that after I'm done with this boss, probably. What's your character's name? Well, the thing is you can create your own character entirely. Your character has like 0 background on their own. The only background is that they're an undead, which is like a zombie person who keeps on dying and being reborn. But your character's backstory is left intentionally vague, so you can just kind of do what you want. If you're curious what I named the character, I just named her Amelia, because I think that's a cool name for like a blonde, like cleric type character. That's why I named her, but I guess the term people use as like the filler term would be chosen undead. That's like the generic name that people use to describe this character, like in the lore. But yeah, the whole idea of this series is that there's a prophecy that a random undead will come out of the woodwork, like the little asylum that I started in. That some random one will just come out and like destroy everything and like set the universe back to 0. And that's basically what I'm doing. Everything in this universe is like ruined. It's like this era, this world had a very grand era for a very long time, but now you're like in the decayed remnants of it, and you have to go like killing the people who are remaining, more or less, in order to kind of reset the universe. That's like how I'd describe it. I think it's a very interesting setup for a like game, especially. And there are like a billion videos on the lore of this world. It's all very in depth, but the thing is, it hardly tells you any of it directly. But everything is in like item descriptions. So like, let me pull up just this sword, for example. If you go to this item description, it says straight sword of an unknown knight, likely one of Astora's superiors, high quality weapon with the powerful blessing. So they never mention Astora directly in this story. However, through looking at these weapons, you can kind of gain the idea that, okay, they have like a knight structure in this place. They have blessings, so the church must be relatively relevant. And you can kind of piece together things about the world just through the items that you pick up, which I think is really cool. So you can do that with just about any item, and you can figure out what's up with them. And people have kind of like reverse engineered what this universe is like just by reading those descriptions. It's not really lore dumping, because none of it's really important. Like, the important stuff is just what you're doing. But if you want to know the background of the universe, you can kind of piece it together. It's almost like you're like an archaeologist. You have to like uncover the ruins of all this and kind of piece together what it used to be like. Which I think is a very interesting way of doing it, because a lot of games will like force feed players all this information that they don't need to know, and it'll kind of feel like it's bogging down the experience. But with this, it's all there if you want it, but you just have to put in the work, which I think is very cool. So whenever people say the Dark Souls story is very good, they don't mean like directly. Like what you're seeing on screen will never be like very story significant. However, like, the universe is very well defined. Or, actually, it's not even terribly well defined, because a lot of the things will be left up to rumor. Like, there will be contradicting pieces of lore, but that's just because they came from different characters' accounts. So, you're really, like, this world is, like, uncertain, which I think is very, very interesting. So the whole reason that like Dark Souls lore channels are as big as they are is just because it's so open-ended and there's so much information to kind of parse and determine what's relevant. I understand it's not for everybody, and it probably does feel like exposition dumping and lore dumping, but the fact that it isn't front-loaded and it's kind of just there for you to discover, I feel is what makes it cool. If they just like dumped a huge block of text on you at the beginning of the game that like made you figure shit out like that, that would be annoying, but they define your goal very clearly through like dialogue. Like at this point of the story, my goal is to ring 2 bells. There we go. I've rang one of the bells. That's like all that matters in terms of what's actually going on. It's just I have to reach a certain objective and do a certain thing. That's all that matters at this point. But there is so much more to it if you look into it. Yeah, but the thing, I can't really speak on Metal Gear, but I guess this is similar. The only thing I know about comparable to Metal Gear would be like Yoko Taro's work, which is like a Nier, Drakengard, that type of stuff. They're very complex story-wise, but a lot of that is like front-loaded. Like it's very involved in the story, and you have to do quite a lot of digging in order to make sense of it. I feel like Kojima and Yoko Taro are compared a lot for their like storytelling and how weird it is. So yeah, that's a decent way of looking at it. This is close to that, but not quite. With something like Metal Gear, what's actually going on in the world is at least a little bit important. With this, it's just kind of you go around and kill things, and you can just treat it exactly like a video game if you really want it to. And all the cutscenes and all the dialogue in this game is very easily skippable. So, like, you see me whenever I talk to characters, I just kind of mash their dialogue because I know all of what they're saying. And those cutscenes, I just kind of let them roll for the sake of uploading this later. But you can skip those, too, and just play the game as it is. So I don't think it's intrusive or annoying or anything. I think it's just kind of the way that the game chooses to set things up. I may try farming just a little bit for that sword that I mentioned. Just because I kind of want it. The sword that I'm using right now is not bad at all, but upgrading it is really weird. It requires like a super specific material in order to do that. Which I kind of want to use for something else later, probably, instead of just on this. Actually, it wouldn't be terrible to use on this weapon, to be honest. Because this weapon does go with my build quite well, and I don't think I need that material for anything else. I don't think so anyways. Let me upgrade it a little bit, if I can. Never mind, I don't have any of the material. I thought I would have picked some up by now, but I guess not. Okay, what do I want to do? I'll level up first. I'll make that my first priority. Let's get some dexterity going. Now I'll be doing a lot more damage. Let's see. Am I able to do a decent roll with my spear yet? I can. Okay, I'm gonna mess around with the spear for a little bit, just because it's a fun change of pace. Let me upgrade it some. Wow, that did not do too much. Let me get some Titanite. Okay, I have to get some more souls in order to upgrade this more, but... Okay, have a good one, man. Thank you for stopping by, making sure all the audio stuff is all good. I'm probably only going to be streaming for a little bit longer, but yeah, it was good having you. Thank you for your support. Okay, so I'm gonna run this route a couple times and see if I get any drops. I think I might pop a few more humanity, because the more of these you have on you, the better your drop rate is, which having a good drop rate is very useful, because a lot of good items drop off of enemies. Like that sword I mentioned, which I keep on mentioning actually. Hopefully I actually end up getting it and I don't just sound like a lunatic. Now then, compared to that rapier I was using earlier, this spear is significantly better. It does more damage, the range is a lot huger. They kind of just outclass rapiers in this game in a lot of ways, except for maybe speed. But yeah, you can just kind of keep your distance really effectively and just poke. It's going to be really useful in this hallway segment because a bunch of these guys are going to come down a really narrow space. But I can just poke away. Okay. See, that was significantly easier. Not only without that dumb mage blocking off everything, but also with the spear. Let me parry this guy. Nope, I'm bad. I'm still bad. There we go. All right. Gonna kill a couple more things. I don't know what else. Oh, there was that one area earlier that I completely forgot to do. Let me run back and do that. I'm gonna take these guys from the back. Normally I don't, but it should be easy with the spear. Okay, easy enough. Okay. So, I've kind of set up a difficult situation for myself here, because I have to do most of this from above in order for this to work, which isn't terrible, but it's going to be a little bit trickier than it normally would be. It got me ahead of that area, which is useful, but I kind of set up a very awkward situation for myself. Come on, attack me. Okay, so since I'm going to be doing this area from above, it'll actually be a good chance for me to show off some items, which I use very sparingly, but you get to throw these little projectiles, which are going to be useful. Like I can use throwing knives to hit these guys, I can use fire bombs. So I'm going to do exactly that. Let me throw a firebomb. Throwing knives are probably better for a distance. Actually, they're more useful for getting people's attention rather than actually doing damage, but it's still useful in some capacity. That okay. Good pathfinding. All right, so we're gonna do this area from the back. What do we have here? These guys. Easy enough. Ooh. That, I don't know why I got excited. That's like a super bad weapon, but those guys, they don't usually drop things. So it's like a mixed bag. It's like cool that I got the rare chance to get something, but it's just a bad item. I may as well punch attack. I'm amazed that hit. I was like well behind him, or well in front of him rather. Okay. the mystery key, which I basically already had. Wow, that guy was hitting me like all over. Okay, I don't think I need these really anymore. I kind of only needed it to deal with those two guys. I know there's... Oh, I guess there isn't. Never mind. I thought there would be a guy from the side, but... Okay. Now then, if I come out here, I'm probably going to get attacked by that boar thing, which I'm not looking forward to. So I'm actually gonna run back and do this from the front, because I feel like that's probably easier. Yeah, let me do that. Thankfully, if you're able to get to a checkpoint, even with something attacking you, you can just kind of use it and then refresh everything, so you don't have to worry about anything. So nothing's pursuing me. I just kind of get a fresh reset and I get to start over. Never mind a fresh reset. That guy kind of didn't go back to his original position. I think the reason for that is that it's a one-time enemy. Like, after this guy's dead, he's dead for good. So he stays permanent, unlike the other enemies. Now then, I just had to wait out this guy. He starts running eventually, but I have to wait him out. I kill him first. Yeah. Okay. Then I get this guy on the side. It's usually pretty easy to get him to parry or to attack. And yeah, like that. Okay, and I'm gonna get an even better vantage point to deal with this thing from, which is from this little middle area. Oh god. There we go. Okay, all cleared. Now it's only... Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing, big guy? This guy is kind of just having the time of his life right now. There's something funny you can do here. There's an item you get called the Alluring Skull, which you throw it and the enemies get attracted to it, like it's you. So you can just kind of throw it up, not up there. You can throw it in the fire, and then they'll be attracted to the fire, and they'll probably kill themselves. Yeah? Let me do that once more. Come on, come on, do it. Do it. Yeah. Oh, it attracted the other guys from underground. That's a little awkward. Okay, once more. Come on. Yeah. Okay, that went rather smoothly. Now then, there's another Black Knight, like the guys that I fought earlier. I'm gonna lure one down here and then fight it. And hopefully it gives me something cool. The last two haven't really given me anything interesting, but I'm hoping for the best here. This guy has a slightly different moveset, and he hits a fair bit harder, because he has this big-ass, enormous sword. I'm gonna switch weapons, actually, because I feel like this just out-damages it. And we're gonna do the same thing where I backstab it a bunch. Which is, if you haven't noticed already, that's a solution to a lot of problems in this game. Don't forget to roll. Thank you. I like how that's just the generic tip for Dark Souls. It's just, you should have rolled. Don't forget to roll. Wow, I'm surprised he didn't keep on following me. I guess this guy's always a pain to get aggroed on you. He doesn't come down the stairs just right. Come on. Get down here. And he keeps on throwing these aimless attacks while he's following you down the staircase. So, yeah. Come on. Come on. I just want to fight him out in the open because it's annoying fighting him anywhere else. It's annoying luring him down too, but it's a lot better than getting just launched off the top of the tower. Oh, wow. I'm surprised he was able to reach me. Come on, hurry up. Okay, it's that big overhead slash that went through my shield, I guess. Okay. Thankfully, this guy's pretty easy to dodge whenever you're out the... Oh my god, I'm an idiot. That was... wow. That was the dumbest thing I've done all night. So much for being easy to dodge. Well, he is, but I just didn't dodge. So, yeah, I have to remember to roll. Thank you for the advice. Oh my god. Okay, shielding this guy is not worth my time. Yeah, no, you're actually right. I should probably just be rolling. Okay, so that guy's out of the way. I didn't really get anything too interesting from him, but you get what you get, I guess. Okay, after this I'm not sure what I want to do. Thankfully the game is open-ended, so I can kind of just do whatever I want. But I'm not sure which direction I want to head. Because I just beat the gargoyles, so I have those guys out of the way. I can do the depths, I can run down and do... I could maybe fight Havel. I might actually do that. Just so I can get all the dumb fights where I have to circle around things and backstab them out of the way. Please give me that sword. I would be very happy with that sword. Nope, nothing. Very unfortunate. Upgrade materials, that's useful. Okay. 2 more chances. I did that way too early. Okay. Still no luck. That's very unfortunate. Okay, I'm gonna go down here and do what I said I would do earlier. I'm gonna kick that that one asshole guy that I rescued from the jail cell. I'm gonna kick him off a cliff. Let me level up first. What do I want levels in? Probably dexterity. Actually, no, I want more endurance. Okay, so this guy is standing right here, or sitting rather, sitting right next to a little cliff. So I'm gonna get my reward for rescuing him, and then promptly kick him off the cliff. Peace out. Cool. Now let me just reset and pick up the item. There's a lot of characters that you can just gimmick like that and just kill them by knocking them off of something. And I've done it. There we go. I got that nice ring and I got a bunch of humanity. Put that ring on. So now that I have all this extra stamina, this gives me like every stat up, which is very useful. So now that I have all the stats up, I can probably, well, hopefully, hold more weapons and still be able to roll somewhat fast. Yes, I can. So now I can have my spear and my sword at the same time, and I can switch between them, giving me a lot more situational advantage. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was gonna do Havel next. Do I have enough equip load to equip these two? No, I do not. I guess I'll be going gloveless for a while. Honestly, that's fine, because armor isn't a huge deal in this game. Unless you're playing PvP, in which case you probably want to have good armor. But for PvE, it's a lot more about dodging, and it's a lot more about your shield and your stamina. Because frankly, you just kind of don't want to be getting hit in general, so the armor isn't as critical. Okay, I'm gonna do this route like one more time, but I'm gonna do it with max drop rate. So I'm just gonna pop a ton of these so I can have enough to max out my drop rate. And I'm hoping I get that sword that I really wanted. This will make it so there's a lot more consequence if I die, but I'm pretty confident that I can get back to where I was even if I do die somewhere. So it's more useful to hopefully get a good drop. Okay, so we're already getting higher drop rates. That's useful. PS5 will be backwards compatible with everything? Wait a second. Okay, by everything, do you mean like all the way back to PS1? If so, that sounds insane. I really hope that's what you mean. From PS1 to 5. Oh my god. Yeah, you know, that would be a guaranteed buy if it does that. I'm really glad I didn't buy a PS4 this holiday season, because I would have felt like a dipshit if I did that and then the PS5 with like all this backwards compatibility comes out. I would have been mad that I wasted my money on that. If that's the case, I am most definitely copping one. Because there are a bunch of PS3 games and PS4 games that I did not get the opportunity to play because I was a dumbass and had an Xbox for a while. I mean, Xbox had better online, but PS3 and PS4 have almost always had better games. So, if I get a PS5 and it actually is backwards compatible like you're saying, that will give me the opportunity to play a lot of games that I missed out on. That sounds great. I really hope that's true. Because I think the last PlayStation I owned was the PlayStation 2. And my PlayStation 2 currently is like all messed up, so it's not reading discs anymore. If that means I got to play like PS2 discs on there, that would be amazing. Because I have a lot of PS2 games I still want to play. Industry rumors. Okay, so it's not completely set in stone, but if that does happen, that is a guaranteed buy from me. Like, not even a question. Some game journalists are saying this. I don't know how much I trust game journalists, but who knows? They could be onto something. I hope they are. But a lot of the time, it's just dumb clickbait that they do, so who knows? Yeah, PS3 had a ton of shit. I regret that I missed out on it. It has like the original Nier and stuff on it, which I really want to play. So that would be perfect. I'd be really hyped if that actually ends up being the case. Either way, definitely glad I hesitated on the PS4, because I was really considering it, but with the PS5 right around the corner, and the potential that it could do all of that, there's really no reason for me to own a PS4, so. I'm pretty excited, then, if that's the case. Oh god. This guy hits you with a bunch of weird hitboxes. This is like weird hitbox the enemy. It's just like all over the place. Wow. You can see that these guys are so awkward to fight. Thankfully they're not terribly hard, but they just hit you in weird situations where you're not expecting to get hit. Okay, gonna head out. Alright, sounds good. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good evening. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna keep this going. Probably until I'm gonna do a few more things for the run. I'm gonna grab a few more items that I want, but I'm probably gonna call it quits in like half an hour or so. Mouse or a keyboard and controller? I'm using controller. Mostly I play fighting games. I play a lot of fighting games, but I never really played a game that really forced me to learn keyboard and mouse whenever I got a PC, so I'm not very good with it, nor do I use it for a lot of things. So I know keyboard and mouse is like objectively superior in a lot of senses. Maybe not for Dark Souls, but for other games. But I'm like a controller pleb. I use controllers and I use fight sticks. That's pretty much all I use. If it were any other game, I'd probably be getting ridiculed for saying that. Like if I was playing a first-person shooter, I'd be getting crucified for using a controller, but keyboard and mouse is just not something I'm used to at the moment. I think the only thing I use keyboard and mouse for is like Minecraft, to be completely honest. Yeah, honestly. Most of what I play like action games like this. I play fighting games and I use a stick for those. And I play a lot of like Metroidvania games, which I think most of the genres that I bother with don't really need a keyboard and mouse. But yeah, it's like shooters, MMOs, and MOBAs that really need keyboard and mouse, but I don't really play any of those. I used to play a bunch of shooters, but that was on console, so that was like a different era of my life. So most of what I do just requires a controller, honestly. I think the only other thing I used the keyboard for was Elsword, which is like this Korean action MMO fighting game. But even then I use that atypically, because you're supposed to, for some reason, that game by default is on the directional pad, not the WASD. So that game's really weird. But that was the one game I actually learned with keyboard. That's just kind of an odd case though, so. Yeah, I know a lot of PC gamers will argue for the whole keyboard being like the absolute like master race, which it is in some contexts. But yeah, for casual use, it's totally fine to use a controller. Okay, I didn't kill this thing the first time around. I don't know how I missed it, but I have a decent weapon for hitting it, at least. There we go. Yeah. I didn't get anything too special, but it's better than nothing at all. Oh, I forgot to get this armor set as well. I should probably do that. Not that it's better than what I have, but I'm kind of a completionist. It's nice having all the armor sets. I should probably just be using the grass crest whenever I'm running around, because honestly the stamina regen is more useful. Okay, gonna fight Havel. It's totally possible for me to get one shot if I screw up and don't roll correctly, but we'll see. Gonna just backstab cheese this guy like I've done with every other little mini boss so far. Wow, that was really dumb. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that to ship out, but I forgot that the shield isn't 100% block rate. Okay, his AI appears to be aggressive this time. A lot of the time he'll hesitate a lot more before attacking, but he's going for more like stupid lunges into walls and giving me openings. Oh my god, I am such a dumbass. Why did I do that? I don't know why I tried to attack him normally. I should have just continued to cheese. Damn it, I got cocky. Okay, let's run that back. Well, I'm sure the stream would probably be less interesting if I did everything perfectly, so. Okay, let's try that once more. I think I'll make my end goal for the stream beating Havel, and then just probably going back to Firelink. And then I might just call it a stream. But this is a pretty good start to my run. I'll continue it on... what is it? I'll continue it on Tuesday. Or maybe I could do it sometime during the weekend if I have time, but we'll see. Going forward, I plan on having my schedule being Tuesdays and Fridays for streams, like guaranteed. But I'll probably just stream whenever in the middle of it if I'm feeling it. I should probably actually update my channel description because I've like barely touched it. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna play this completely patiently. I'm gonna not be an idiot. I say as I do some dumb shit, but okay. Let's just not get hit. Oh my god. I'm amazed I lived. I'm honestly just not gonna heal. Just because doing more damage is more useful. Because he's gonna one-shot me anyways if he hits me with anything else. So I'll call that a strategic choice that I just made, despite it being a total fuck up and getting hit. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going through his health a lot quicker. Okay. So that was a stupid mistake, but it's all for the best, I guess. And there we go. He is gone. Well, I kind of fumbled through that and didn't do that as well as I could have, but it worked out in the end, and I have both the rings that I'm going to be using this run, so all is well. Wow, he gave me a lot more souls than I remember him giving. Let me see. What else is there for me to do on my way back? I keep on forgetting how tall this is. I have to go a lot higher up than I remember. Okay, we got these guys. Okay, beat the Black Knight down there. I don't know if there's anything really for me to be doing here. Okay, gonna kill this guy. Oh, I'm amazed that triggered a backstab. I was so far below him, I didn't think it would do anything. Then I think... Where did the third guy go? There he is. Oh no. I did a plunge attack while I was running off that tiny little ledge. That's funny that that's even able to happen. I swear, I like how the game is almost always easier going through things backwards. It makes it so backtracking feels a lot simpler, and it's really satisfying being able to like plow through the areas that might have been challenging for you earlier on, just because you have a different position. That's another facet of the game design that I like a lot. The whole backtracking and shortcuts and everything being very satisfying feeling. Being able to run back through something or to take a shortcut always feels very rewarding. Like you earned the right to do everything easier just by doing it right the first time. But then there are some instances where you can totally just exploit it and not even do it right the first time. So yeah, for being a game that's kind of broken, there's still a lot of satisfying and well-designed things about it. It's easily one of my favorite games, which is why I chose it to be the first thing I would stream, just because it's a game that I can kind of turn off my mind and just worry about chat and all the other stream stuff. Okay, and we're back to the first checkpoint. I'm gonna become a human again. I'm gonna level up a little bit, and then I'm probably gonna call it a stream. Okay, no more beef jerky skin. Let's get some levels in. Probably, yeah, endurance. Endurance dex. That seems about right. Okay. And I'm gonna quit out. I think that should just about do it. Thank you everyone for stopping by. It was a fun first stream. I plan on resuming it either sometime this weekend or on Tuesday, so we'll see what happens. Thank you all for watching.